What is going on, guys? It is WrestleLamia here, back with another news video. And as always, the wrestling world is full of interesting news and rumours. So join us now as we look at the latest headlines, including the man's engagement to the architect, a WWE couple who broke up, CM Punk sending feelers to the WWE, Jon Moxley injured, a possible venue for WrestleMania XXXVII, Chris Jericho speaks on Vince's involvement in NXT, and Nikki Bella still not being able to get over John Cena. Let's get into our first bit of news as Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins announced their engagement. It looks like Universal Champion Seth Rollins wasted no time asking Becky Lynch to be his bride. Fightful.com reported on the big announcement saying, the couple appeared in a Twitter post with the WWE Raw Women's Champion Lynch sporting a ring on a rocky beach alongside her significant other and groomed-to-be WWE Universal Champion Seth Rollins. The caption associated implied that the two are now engaged. Becky Lynch tweeted, "Happiest day of my life, for the rest of my life," and tagged in Seth Rollins. WWE.com also broke the news saying, WWE is thrilled to congratulate Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch on the news of their engagement. Multiple WWE superstars offered their wishes to the couple. Now, we won't read them all, but Drake Maverick did have a hilarious tweet saying, "Update, told my wife Rollins and Becky Lynch got engaged today. She said if they need any tips on a healthy relationship, not to bother asking us. Still yet to consummate my marriage." However, whilst one couple is flourishing and taking their next big step in life, another has sadly come to an end. It wasn't made public like Rollins and Lynch's relationship or Andrade's and Charlotte Flair's, but behind the scenes, NXT's North American champion Velveteen Dream and WWE presenter Kathy Kelly were known to be dating. However, just yesterday, ironically during the same night as Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins' announcement, Kathy Kelly confirmed on Twitter she is now single. She tweeted, "I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but I'm very single." Ooh, what's that sound? Oh, it's thousands of thirsty men giving it a try on Twitter. Good luck, lads. Next up, CM Punk and the WWE. No matter how much he denies it, wrestling's straight-edge superstar remains wrestling's hottest free agent, regardless of his statements that he has no interest in returning to the squared circle. Nonetheless, rumors persist with the Wrestling Observer newsletter reporting, a lot of people believe because of how the talks with AEW went and his public reaction a few weeks ago, that he's WWE bound. Those at WWE say otherwise and have even insisted to me on this one. But any talks with Punk in theory would be kept very quiet. That said, due to how everything went down and more the lawsuit, it's hard to think Punk would come back. At the same time, WWE has so much money that they could make him an offer that would be ridiculous. In a competitive environment, he is the biggest potential free agent, so there is that argument. What we do know that is interesting is that CAA, which represents Punk and also represents WWE, has had an agent reach out to Fox's head honchos about Punk as a co-host of the upcoming new FS1 talk show. From a WWE standpoint, my gut is that they'd hate the idea. He'd be working for Fox, not WWE. We're told there have been no negotiations at all regarding that. The impression is WWE wouldn't like it, but things change daily. It's only something Punk's agent brought up, and not anything that it's clear Punk wanted, although he has seemingly been looking into commentary, and he is doing lower MMA commentary right now. Another person close to the situation noted that Punk could play the game correctly and get himself a great deal, and even though business comes before personal likes and dislikes with WWE and should with AEW as well, Punk is in a situation where both sides on a personal basis don't like him. Another person from WWE noted that Punk is not what he once was. When he came in, Punk's mental style of wrestling, like with Bryan, represented something new to WWE, and fans embraced it as a style they like as opposed to the existing style. But now his style is the existing style, being done by younger and better wrestlers. His biggest strength, of course, is his talking, but those in WWE insist there's nothing to those beliefs. Regardless of what the Observer is reporting, Punk is only 40 years old, and unless he has unreported injuries, he could easily transition back into the ring. Even if Punk's skills have deteriorated, his charisma and microphone skills make him a fan favorite. Furthermore, Punk is a savvy student of the game that it's easy to imagine him changing his in-ring style to handle any limitations caused by the aging process. Next up is Jon Moxley injured. With All Elite Wrestling's all-out pay-per-view just a week away, fans are concerned about rumors that Moxley is dealing with some sort of injury. According to this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, Jon Moxley has some kind of elbow injury. It may be an infection that he got in Japan. He worked shows this weekend for Northeast Wrestling, and with the exception of the 16th August show in Poughkeepsie, his singles bouts were made tags. He pretty much insisted on doing his singles match with Pentagon Jr. and was very careful not to bump on the elbow. Not only is Moxley working the pay-per-view, but he's a key figure in AEW, whose TNT TV series is just several weeks away. Moxley has also been wrestling in New Japan Pro Wrestling and on the indie circuit. Next up, we move on to some WrestleMania news, as where in the world could be WrestleMania 37? Although WrestleMania 37 won't be here until 2021, there's already speculation about which city will host the Showcase of the Immortals. According to Ringside News, Los Angeles' new stadium is one favourite, but WrestleVotes mentioned Las Vegas is also being considered. Along with Los Angeles being a favourite to host WrestleMania 37, a source tells me Las Vegas is also on the table. The same source states WWE has not made a decision and are considering up to 4 locations as finalists. Fans hoping for an international venue will likely have to wait. While fans in the UK have clamoured for WrestleMania to come there, it doesn't look likely, at least in the next 2 years. Next up, Chris Jericho spoke on what will happen when Vince gets involved with NXT. Now, you already know the news of NXT moving to the USA Network, and even though Vince has been kept busy with the relaunch of the XFL, and multiple news sources indicate Vince is taking a step back from WWE, Chris Jericho, a man who has spent years under the tutelage of Vince, believes that his hectic schedule won't keep him away from controlling some of the brand when it airs on national television. Speaking with Chris Van Vliet, Chris spoke on how Vince will make NXT more like Raw and SmackDown each week. He mentioned, if it's another show on the USA Network, not on FS1 and not on the WWE Network, if it's an official, legitimate nationwide cable show on the USA Network, do you think Vince McMahon is going to be involved in it? Of course he is! It's Vince McMahon, he's a genius. But here's the thing, I think the appeal of it is that it's its own little entity outside the WWE, and when Vince McMahon gets a hold of it and gets involved with it, it's going to become another SmackDown and another Raw. He continued, I think you're going to see all 3 of those shows interacting with one another. I think it's going to be just another WWE show. So whatever the appeal is with NXT, whatever the specialness of it, it's going to be changed to another Raw and another SmackDown. I think if you like Raw and SmackDown, then you're going to like NXT on Wednesday nights. If you don't, then I don't think you're going to like NXT on Wednesday nights, because there's no way that Vince McMahon is going to stay home and not be involved with it. That's what he does, so great. I think it's another 2 hours of incredible WWE programming on Wednesday nights. If you love WWE, then there's more for you to love, and if you don't, then I don't think it's going to make a difference. And our last story of today looks at Nikki Bella still not being over John Cena. Well, admittedly, half of the news today has turned out to be WWE relationships. We promise it wasn't intentional. But it seems that even though Nikki Bella and John Cena have broken up for over a year, she still hasn't got over the 16-time world champion. Speaking on the Bella's podcast, she admitted she still cries over Cena. She mentioned, as far as how you get over a breakup, you really have to do the work on yourself. You really truly have to love yourself and every day dedicate something to you that is making you better. You also have to let yourself cry. That's one thing my life coach helped me a lot with, because I still, you guys, get days where I cry about my breakup. But we were together a long time. We had an amazing relationship, an amazing bond, and a lot of love for each other. But every day when I need to cry, I let myself cry because crying is healing. And so when those tears come, I don't try to hold them in. I find a quiet place and cry. Also on top of it, I meditate. Will she ever get over John Cena? To be honest, it looks like John Cena is way over her. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.